Well, it's Halloween Day, isn't it? As a child, I loved Halloween. Did you love Halloween as a child? Sometimes my parents didn't love it so much, but but I loved Halloween. Halloween was my opportunity to put on a costume, go door to door, ring that doorbell, and say, what? Trick or treat! So, I'm waiting for my trick or treat. There I am. So, I love to, that's me Photoshop, but Halloween is a time to go to those favorite neighbors as a child. And I had favorite neighbors, those with the best treats. Mine was popcorn balls, candied apples, and peanut brittle. All homemade. All homemade. Did this is my southern. Did all y'all have some favorite treats as a child going trick-or-treating? What were they? Snickers. Candy corn. Reese's. Miniature Hershey bars. All good ones.
Peanut butter fudge.
Peanut butter fudge. Do you make this? Her house tonight. Thanks, Dad. So as I would go door to door and trick-or-treating, there were a lot of unknowns. A lot of candy there that I didn't know was in the bag, which I got to discover later when I got home, because like most parents out here in the world, you want to check what's in your kids' bags, don't you? You want to make sure it's healthy. Well, not healthy maybe, but that it's safe. So, bye-bye, Michael. So this morning, my intention is to showcase the experience of Halloween as a metaphor. As a science of mind student, I love seeing spirit in all things. Not just that kind of spirit, but the spiritual. We say it's all God, it's all good, it's all present right here, right now. Why not Halloween? Well, I'm using Halloween, as I said, as a metaphor for how we create our lives by our beliefs and choices that we make, and how to choose from a more aware perspective. That's important. And it's important if we're on the way to becoming supernatural, which is our Standards book this month, Becoming Supernatural. And it's not a book on witchcraft or the occult, although some of the well, it's very deep, it's very scientific, and I like that kind of stuff. So I invite you to, if you're curious after the lesson, seek it out in our bookstore, because it's quite informative on how our mind influences the enzymes of our bodies, which creates cellular response, individual cellular response. Thank you, Dr. Joe Dispenza. So Halloween, as we experience it today, shows up as superheroes, fairy tale princesses, witches on broomsticks, out-of-this-world creatures, as transforming images of werewolves and vampires. ghosts and goblins. We're going to see them tonight. Because we're going to sit outside of the door and watch the parade. You do that? I love doing that. Saves having to get up, get up, get up, get up. Well, the images I mentioned are often referred to as supernatural. And Webster has two I've chosen as definitions. The first, attributed to an invisible agent, such as a ghost or a devil. Second, relating to an order of existence beyond the visible, observable universe. Of or relating to God. Well, I'm choosing number 2 today. Relating to an order of existence beyond the visible, observable universe, of or relating to God. Now, for greater clarity, I had to go to Science of Mind textbook. That's what we do. John, right? Sandy, yes. Students, yeah. Yeah, we do that. And on page 975, Ernest Holmes tells us, and I quote, "The science of mind is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. The conception that we live in a spiritual universe, that God is in, through, around, and for us. There is nothing supernatural anywhere on any plane. That which today seems supernatural, after it's understood, will be found spontaneously natural." Don't you love that? Spontaneously natural. Normally occurring, already available, is my interpretation of that. It's in the bag of our beliefs, in between the parentheses of our own minds. It's all in how we frame our thoughts. So with that framing in mind, I'll invite 7 volunteers up, please. Just stand right here. 7. One by one. Choose a bag. Okay, and then. Does that one count? No, this is just background. Okay. Yes, you can sit now. But don't look in the bag yet. I need 2 more. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It's all fun. It's all fun. Here we go. All right. So, one by one, reach in your bag, and there's an attribute in there. What is your attribute your consciousness has chosen for you? Yeah. Wisdom. Power. Joy.
Abundance.
Love. That it?
Peace.
Oh, this one. And there's something sweet in there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that comes. That is your bag. It comes with all that. It comes with all those already in you. And when we go out in the world, we have things dropped into our bag that we might not even know is there consciously. So the bag is the metaphor for our consciousness today. The candies or the various ideas are placed into it. I like payday. Costumes as a way to put on and try out different ideas of oneself, right? And the door-to-door trick-or-treat experience, that of gathering experiences and beliefs about ourselves, given to us by others as we move through life. So my point here is that we have been conditioned through a series of experiences and influences from those very first moments of life at the cellular level. We have been offered other people's stuff. And we take it as our stuff, most of the time unconsciously. So, beloveds, in order to become spiritually supernatural, we must change the reactive behavior at the cellular level, which is the level of the candy. Like a parent would go through our trick-or-treat bag, it's often wise to go through and weed out those pieces that no longer serve us. Dr. Dispenza writes in his book, Becoming Supernatural, by tempering those reactive behaviors and thus no longer creating the same redundant experiences and emotions, we no longer fire and wire the same circuits in the brain. Where's Johnny Samples? Where's Dr. Johnny? Hi, Johnny. I know you're there. This is how we cease conditioning the body to live in the self-limiting emotions of the mind. Great book. Every time we do this, we are literally teaching our body to chemically understand what our mind has intellectually understood. This is how we select and instruct that latent genes that cause us to thrive, not just survive. End quote. Wow. Science of mind? Yeah. He goes on to say, it's going to feel unnatural in the beginning to go against years of automatic conditioning, unconscious habits, reflexive emotional reactions, hardwired attitudes. Anyone having those? Not us. And generations of genetic programming. But that's exactly how we become supernatural. End quote. My friends, we must break with what we might believe is tradition or old beliefs, such as, oh, I'm just like my father. Look, I have my so-and-so's nose or this hair or that body part. I don't know. You name it. You all have, I'm just like, don't you? I'm just likes. So whatever that is, take a look at it. Do you still want to believe that? Or this gene runs in my family. What are you telling your bodies? Every cell has an intelligence. And if we blame it and shame it, it no longer serves us well. Off notes. When my body told me 14 years ago, through a restriction on my larynx, through a growth that was removed, that I learned to not speak up and to shut down and to hold on to my emotions by my father. Now, he didn't tell me, shut up, go to your room. He never did. He shut up. He went to his room and he closed the door. So I thought that's how you handle emotion. So that's what I did until 14 years ago. So I had an opportunity to change the ideas about myself. It was not his fault. It's nobody's fault. It's that we say, okay, that's me. That's me. We are predisposed to thriving, to living in the abundance of divine radiance and in wellness. We're designed to live in joy and love and grace. All else has been dropped into our bags along life's way. That's why I did the example of kind of picking up a bag. The whole process of visualization works for me. I'm very visual. And now I want to have a little take-home idea as well. It's good for my mind. Hope it's good for yours. So, what will be your focus from this day forward? The trick of human conditioning? Or the treat of becoming supernatural? It's in the bag, your bag, my bag of consciousness, which is our own understanding of how all this works. And on the topic of understanding, I had a nephew, Carlos Barbas, Dr. Carlos Barbas. He had a research chair at Scripps Research Institute in La Jolla until his death in 2014. He was not quite 50 years old. He had a great mind. And he studied the behavioral responses of enzyme variants on the individual human cells. Right up Joe Dispenza's alley. He validated for me that, yes, there is the ability to cause those responses within us at the cell level to change. That was his research. His lab provided breakthroughs in understanding of HIV and treatments which render HIV undetectable. Another drug called Rituxan for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, for which he held a patent. It was brilliant. And I call him, so he was just so brilliant that he could, how he saw a situation, talk about intention and visualization, he could see not from the root of the problem, trying to find the end result. He thought from the end. He thought from the branch in the leaf that hadn't been sprouted yet and brought it all the way back to the root cause, and that's where his change would happen. That's where his lab studied from. I miss him terribly. We had the greatest talks. I could never tell anybody what he said, but I understood it. Do you get that? Like sometimes here, what's this guy saying? I get it, but how do I tell somebody? But I always know he was on to something bigger for the human and for our wellness. Much of his research continues today through the lab that bears his name. And as a result of his 1990s enzyme research, he and his lab partner were honored with the 2021 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, posthumously. So my point of bringing this up is, well, varied, but we never know where our ideas will go. But I do know that they go beyond us. And my nephew exampled it this last week. So never think you are limited by your ideas and your beliefs. If you have a good idea, let it out. Share it. What seems supernatural to much of the world seemed spontaneously natural to Carlos. He understood the concept of how it could be. He was intentional and knew possibility was always at hand. And as a student of this teaching, I believe this as well. There's a book entitled The Sermon on the Mount. On page 139, it reads, This doctrine that what matters is one's consciousness, because your own concept is what you see. This doctrine that what matters is one's consciousness, because your own concept is what you see. I can't see yours. You can't see mine. I try and share my ideas, and some of you see it and some of you don't. That's the way it is. But am I holding back? No. No. If you have questions, come ask me. There is something within you that is calling. It is sincere. It is authentic. It is filled with wonder, with love, with humanity, and with possibility. Invite yourself into yourself of greater awareness. Invite yourself into your spiritual self of greater awareness. Raise yourself into divine wondering. Love yourself through all doubts of others and of yourself. Your truth needs no validation outside of you. Now is the time to show up as you. Now is the time to defy all limitations. Everything's different. Everything's true. Everything's new. Bring it on. This is for you.